This is Captain Davo's True Tales, completely factual maritime adventures. Episode 11, The Last Voyage of the Jade Lion. Last time, Davo and Finnigan reached Langkawi. They met Captain C, a man capable of finding errors in tide tables, fuel receipts, boat registrations, and apparently human beings. They discovered the Jade Lion was never the treasure. It was merely the key. They also discovered that somebody had begun watching them, and somewhere behind them. Captain C made a very peculiar phone call. Dawn broke quietly over the northern Andaman Sea. The Nordic 26 rolled gently in the swell. Langkawi had disappeared beyond the horizon. Nobody had spoken for nearly an hour.
I preferred it when we were looking for the mystery.
Why Finnigan?
It felt less personal.
It always was.
The satellite phone rang, once, twice. Captain Magic answered.
Good morning, mate. Yes, I will.
He handed the phone to Davo.
Good morning, Captain Davo.
You're calling rather early?
Criminal organizations have repeatedly demonstrated an unfortunate reluctance to respect conventional business hours.
Morning to you too.
Ah, Finnigan. Delighted to hear you remain alive.
Is that your version of a compliment?
It is.
What's happened?
I require you to alter course. I have transmitted coordinates.
And why would we do that?
Captain Sinbad is waiting.
Davo looked at Magic.
I don't understand. Why is he waiting?
Because it is finally time for everyone to stop pretending they possess different pieces of the puzzle.
Are you coming?
Good heavens, no. I dislike unnecessary travel.
Fair enough.
Additionally, somebody ought to remain behind and continue thinking.
The line went dead.
I still can't work him out.
Captain Davo altered course. The Nordic headed west towards a tiny group of uninhabited islands, white beaches, limestone cliffs, water so clear that coral heads were visible 20 feet below. There wasn't another boat in sight.
Beautiful.
Now you can say it. We're already here.
Hidden behind the largest island, one yacht lay quietly at anchor. Finnigan recognized her immediately.
That's the Christopher.
Captain Sinbad stood in the cockpit, hands in his pockets, waiting. Beside him, wearing the same unmistakable red dress, was the lady in red.
What's going on here? You two planned this?
Not exactly.
The boats came gently alongside. Nobody rushed. Nobody embraced. They were sailors and yachties. They simply stepped aboard. Davo asked the lady in red a question.
How did you get here before us?
Seaplane. There's a new airliner called the Flying Dodo. It services most the islands.
Seriously?
They're surprisingly reliable.
Somehow that's the strangest thing that's happened all week.
Captain Sinbad looked at the wrapped Jade Lion.
After 21 years, I'd begun to wonder whether I'd ever see it again.
Nobody reached for the lion. Nobody tried to unwrap it. Instead, Captain Magic quietly opened a box of dubious duty-free beers.
Cronenberg 1664.
Captain C would expect nothing less.
4 bottles were opened one by one, then 5. Nobody questioned why. Captain Magic simply assumed there should always be one spare.
Is everybody in this story obsessed with beer?
What kind of question is this, Finnigan? You can't be on a boat and not enjoy a couple. Unfortunately, we don't have any Steinlager Pure.
Even Sinbad laughed.
Right, enough. We've sailed halfway across Southeast Asia. Boats have burned. People have lied. We've nearly been killed. I think we've earned some answers.
Sinbad looked towards Lady in Red.
Fair.
Before anyone says anything, I owe you both an apology.
For what?
Knowing more than I admitted.
We suspected, you started giving me the heebie-jeebies.
No. You suspected I was hiding something. You didn't realize how much.
You knew about the lion.
Yes,
Since when?
before you found it.
Davo looked away.
Then why didn't you tell us?
Because it wasn't my story to tell.
Nobody replied.
True. This woman is always right. I can't wait to leave this boat.
So, you and Sinbad,
We are old friends, Finnigan.
are you sure you are only friends?
That's enough.
More than enough.
Does Captain C know you?
We've crossed paths.
Are you friends too?
Absolutely not. We simply dislike incorrect conclusions.
They argue magnificently, constantly.
Right, enough of this rubbish. Somebody start from the beginning.
Sinbad took a long breath.
21 years ago, I accepted a delivery, a routine job, cash payment, no questions. I should have asked questions. Halfway through the voyage, I discovered the passengers weren't passengers. They were victims.
The cockpit fell silent.
I turned the boat around, got as many ashore as I could, but not all of them.
He looked down into his empty bottle of beer.
I've spent the last 21 years trying to make up for one voyage.
That's why everyone thought you were involved.
Convenient, wasn't it?
You let them believe it.
Criminals ignore legends. They pay attention to police.
It kept him alive.
Sean thinks you're the villain.
Sean believes many things,
Occasionally correctly.
usually entertainingly.
The lady in red looked at Davo.
Do you remember Pulau Hantu?
Of course.
Tioman?
Yes, he bloody monkey took my Steinlager Pure.
Batam?
Obviously. What are you getting at?
I wasn't following you. I was following the lion.
Finnigan slowly nodded.
That actually makes a lot more sense.
Captain Magic quietly stood.
It's time, guys. Captain C said don't wait.
Magic picked up the wrapped Jade Lion. He placed it carefully on the cockpit table. Nobody reached for it. Nobody spoke.
Aren't we opening it?
No. Captain C said,
Him again, what now?
he said, put it in warm water.
Finnigan blinked.
That's it?
That's it.
Captain Sinbad disappeared below. A saucepan filled. Water began to heat. Nobody spoke while they waited. The lion sat in the middle of the table. Ancient, beautiful, entirely ordinary, yet somehow worth killing for. The kettle clicked off. Sinbad poured the warm water into a wide stainless steel bowl. Davo gently lowered the Jade Lion into it.
That's all?
We wait. Captain C was annoyingly specific.
1 minute passed, then 2, then 3. Nothing happened.
I think he's finally wrong.
At that exact moment, a tiny air bubble escaped from the lion.
Did you see that?
Yes, it is opening.
Everyone instinctively leaned forward. Another tiny bubble escaped from the Jade Lion. Then another. The warm water became slightly cloudy. A faint smell of old beeswax drifted across the cockpit.
Beeswax?
Ancient waterproofing Finnigan. Clever, very clever.
Davo carefully lifted the lion from the bowl. He wrapped it in a clean towel, turned it upside down, and gently tapped the base once.
Nothing.
That's encouraging.
Wait.
He tapped it again. A tiny brass cylinder slid quietly onto the table. Nobody spoke.
Bloody hell. 21 years. There it is.
That's it? That's what everyone's been chasing?
Magic picked up the tiny cylinder. It was no bigger than a cigar. Green with age. Perfectly sealed.
Open it.
No, Captain C.
Again with that man.
Magic reached for the satellite phone. One number had already been entered. The phone rang once.
Good afternoon.
You knew this would happen.
Captain Davo, if I had not expected it, I should have been a rather poor investigator.
We've got the cylinder.
Excellent.
How did you know about the wax?
Chinese puzzle boxes.
You guessed, didn't you?
Certainly not. I read.
That's disappointingly sensible.
Before you open it, I require everybody to answer one question.
Why?
Because the answer determines what happens next. Captain Sinbad, why have you spent 21 years chasing the lion?
Guilt.
Lady in Red,
Loyalty.
Captain Magic,
Promise?
Finnigan,
Honestly,
I strongly recommend it.
I was never chasing the bloody thing. We just seem to end up being in interesting situations since we got the Nordic boat. I think it is coursed. Should never listen to the slimy old Scotsman who sold it to us.
And you, Captain Davo?
Davo looked at the brass cylinder.
Because now, I need to know.
There was a long silence.
Excellent. Only one of those answers concerns the object itself.
Meaning,
This has never been about the lion. It has always been about people.
Captain Magic slowly unscrewed the brass cap. It resisted. Then it loosened. Inside, tiny rolls of rice paper, perfectly dry, perfectly preserved. The lady in red carefully unrolled the first strip. Names, boat registrations, coordinates, dates, fuel records, ownership changes.
that's a ledger.
Precisely.
I don't understand.
Think of it less as a treasure map and more as the minutes of a very long criminal meeting.
Sinbad quietly laid his old leather notebook beside the rice paper. The lady in red produced several folded pages from her backpack. Magic disappeared below and returned carrying a faded envelope.
You all had pieces?
Yes, different pieces.
They spread everything across the cockpit table, like a giant jigsaw puzzle. Slowly, every missing gap disappeared. Boat names aligned, dates matched, coordinates overlapped. 21 years of separate investigations became one complete story.
Captain C, you should be here.
No, because I already know what it says.
You do?
Approximately. I simply lacked proof.
So who's behind it?
Captain C didn't answer immediately.
That is the disappointing part.
The satellite phone remained on the table. Nobody spoke. The only sound was the gentle slap of water against the hull.
Captain C, who's behind it?
A long silence followed.
Nobody.
It's impossible. There has to be someone.
Human beings possess an unfortunate tendency to believe every complicated problem must have a mastermind. It is a remarkably comforting illusion.
Then explain.
One marina manager accepts a bribe. One customs officer decides not to inspect a yacht. One insurance assessor signs paperwork without looking. The yacht club commodores look the other way. One harbour official ignores an inconsistency. Individually, none believes himself responsible. Collectively, they become a machine. They become a committee.
Nobody interrupted.
Most criminal organizations do not survive because of brilliant leaders. They survive because ordinary people repeatedly convince themselves that somebody else will do the right thing.
What about Craig?
He's a useful chap.
The harbour master?
Useful.
The people from the white yacht?
Employees.
Employees of who?
Whoever happens to be paying today.
So all this time, we've been chasing ghosts.
No, we were chasing choices. Bad ones and expensive ones.
Captain Magic slowly turned another strip of rice paper. More names, more boats, more marinas, more years.
This could ruin hundreds of people.
Captain Davo, how many courts would accept anonymous rice paper hidden inside a stone lion?
Good point.
You possess history, not evidence.
Then what have we actually found?
Understanding. Which is considerably more valuable.
It doesn't feel very satisfying.
Reality rarely is.
Captain Sinbad quietly closed his old notebook.
21 years. I wanted names. Instead, I learned how ordinary evil really is.
The lady in red looked at Davo.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, if this ever gets into the wrong hands, somebody simply starts the whole thing again.
Captain C smiled from the other end of the line.
Congratulations. You have finally asked the correct question.
So what do we do?
There are two possibilities.
Go on.
We preserve the documents, somebody eventually steals them, or sells them, or weaponizes them.
And the second one?
We ensure nobody ever possesses them again.
Nobody liked the second option, which was precisely why it was probably the correct one.
21 years. Gone.
Bit of the papers disappear. Then the next generation starts chasing them.
Agreed.
Captain C?
Captain C answered immediately.
Burn them, without hesitation. Information without wisdom is merely another form of power, and power has a thoroughly disappointing habit of corrupting whoever believes they deserve to possess it.
Sounds like a commodore of a yacht club.
Precisely, Finnigan. That's absolutely right.
Captain Magic quietly reached into a locker. He placed a lighter on the table.
Your decision, guys. I don't want to be blamed again for something I didn't do.
Nobody looked at Sinbad. Nobody looked at the lady in red. Nobody looked at the satellite phone. They all looked at Davo. Because this was no longer Captain C's investigation, or Sinbad's burden, or the lady in red's secret. It had become Captain Davo's choice. Nobody moved. The lighter rested quietly on the cockpit table. Beside it, 21 years of secrets, 21 years of guilt, 21 years of unanswered questions.
There has to be another way.
There usually is.
Then why aren't we taking it?
Because it is almost always the worst one.
Davo looked around the cockpit. Captain Magic simply nodded. The lady in red said nothing. Sinbad stared at the faded notebook he had carried for over 2 decades. Finnigan quietly picked up one of the rice papers.
This little thing has caused all this.
No, people caused all this. The paper merely remembered it.
If we burn it, they'll never stop searching.
Precisely.
Isn't that dangerous?
Considerably less dangerous than allowing somebody to find it.
Davo slowly picked up the lighter. He hesitated.
Captain, I've waited 21 years to know what was inside that lion. Now I know. That's enough.
Some stories deserve endings, not sequels.
Captain Davo smiled.
That's probably the smartest thing anyone said all week.
He touched the flame to the first strip of rice paper. It curled, blackened, then vanished into ash. One by one, every name disappeared. Every registration, every hidden anchorage, every route, gone. Nobody celebrated. Nobody applauded. They simply watched, quietly.
That's it then.
Yes.
Feels smaller than I expected.
Reality generally is?
Captain Magic picked up the now empty brass cylinder. He looked at Sinbad.
Yours, mate. Take it. You deserve it.
No, it belongs to the sea.
Magic walked to the stern. He looked across the calm Andaman Sea, then quietly dropped the brass cylinder overboard. It vanished beneath the surface, followed moments later by the Jade Lion. 2 small ripples, then nothing.
So, that's really the end?
No,
What do you mean, Captain Sinbad?
it's the end of my story. Yours is only just beginning.
The satellite phone crackled.
Captain Davo,
Yes,
did you burn them?
we did.
A long silence.
Excellent. The absence of catastrophe is frequently the finest outcome one can reasonably expect.
I'll never know if we made the right decision.
Nor shall I. I find that strangely comforting, because certainty is frequently the first symptom of foolishness.
The line quietly disconnected. Nobody said goodbye. Sailors rarely do. Captain Sinbad raised anchor first. He disappeared north towards Thailand. The lady in red climbed aboard the flying Dodo seaplane and disappeared in the clouds. She waved once. Captain Magic quietly hopped into a dinghy tied behind a yacht on anchor and headed west, without another word. Somewhere in Langkawi, Captain C crossed one final line through an old notebook. Beside it, he simply wrote, resolved. Then he opened another bottle of Kronenborg 1664. Davo stood quietly at the helm. Finnigan looked out across the empty sea.
So, where to now?
Davo smiled.
Dunno. Let's go find out Finnigan, chuck us a beer, a Steinlager, a cold Steinlager, the pure one.
Davo, I know. Do you really need to tell me that every time I get you a cold one?
This was Captain Davo's True Tales, completely factual maritime adventures, Season 1. Three weeks later, Singapore. A travel lift slowly raised an aging sailing yacht from the water. A woman in overalls walked slowly around the hull, clipboard in one hand, small inspection hammer in the other. She stopped, tapped the keel once, then twice.
That's odd.
What is?
This repair? It should not exist.
Are you serious?
I have absolutely no idea lah, which is precisely why I am interested.
She smiled. At that exact moment, nearly 1,000 kilometers away, a Dutch airline captain stood in a tiny workshop surrounded by engines, propellers, welding equipment, and half-finished inventions. He stared furiously at a bronze washer.
$18? Impossible. That's a $5 part wearing an $18 price tag. Whoever priced this should work for the airlines. They'd fit right in.
3 hours later, whilst attempting to save $18, Basti van Dijk accidentally discovered something that had remained hidden beneath the Andaman Sea for almost 80 years. But that is another true tale. Until next season, fair winds, following seas. And remember, sailors rarely find adventure because they go looking for it. They find it because they untie the lines. Captain Davo's True Tales, completely factual maritime adventures, is produced aboard a Nordic boat somewhere in Southeast Asian waters. Keeping your lines clean since the 1699. Find your Nordic at uxmarine.com or your closest Nordic dealer.